Responsibility. I love this. How do you spell responsibility? RESPOND / ABILITY. Respondability. Responsibility is the ability to respond. You're where you are, you're who you are, you're what you are because of the choices you made. You can change who and what you are if you're willing to change your choices. Who's responsible for where you are? Who's responsible for what you are? Who's responsible for where you are? The first step to greatness, Winston Churchill says, is to accept responsibility. The first story is not really a story. Listen to these situations. Student fails a class. His response, I had a bad teacher. What does that tell you? You can't pass classes unless you have great teachers. Right? My daughter comes home when she's in the 8th grade. I'm the athletic director of the school in East Texas. She comes home and she says, I got Mr. So-and-so for biology. Mr. So-and-so is a terrible teacher. And I said, don't worry about it, honey. I'll go in tomorrow and get your schedule changed. And my wife looks at me and she said, no, you won't. Mr. So-and-so uses the same book that everybody else does. She will learn biology. May not be from him, but she'll learn it from that book. Her education is not going to be based on teachers. She will learn biology. Years and years later, my daughter comes home from college, and just as a conversation, I said, how's the teachers? And she said, it don't matter, Dad. What did she learn? She's responsible for the content of that class. Team loses a football game. Referee makes a bad call. So what do all the people say? The referee cheated us. So what does that mean? If the referees don't call a perfect game, you can't win a game. Kids come home, coach makes a bad call. Kids come home and say, coach made a bad call. So what do you learn from that? If the coach doesn't call perfect plays, we lose. Well, I coached 42 years and I made a lot of bad calls. You can't always depend on the coach. You're responsible to make it work. This happened. A man murders and cannibalizes young people in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. What do you think his defense is? He was abused as a young child. Okay, what do you gain from that? If you're abused as a young child, does that mean it's okay for you to kill and cannibalize other young people? No. You see, all of these things you've got to accept responsibility. You cannot respond until you accept responsibility. If it's the referee's fault, what are you going to do about the referees? If it's the teacher's fault, what are you going to do about the teacher? See, the only person that you're responsible for is you. But you are responsible for the grades you make, the actions you take, and every choice that you make. If you can't, it doesn't make any difference. Responsibility.